Hey everyone, Mike on Monday coming to you. Couple of things today, some winter weeds, some tillage weeds, some pasture management, and some turf management. Starting off in a wheat field here, we've got some yellowing occurring, we've also got some green. So that early nitrogen might be disappearing on you, or you might be a little saturated as well. Some sunshine and dry would go a long ways to help our crop. With that, it is time to start considering getting the weed control taken care of in your wheat field. And yes, I understand that a lot of ground is wet and saturated. We're going to have to farm a little ugly in places to get the field taken care of. But when you're out there looking at your field, will it carry or not? Cram your heel in, see if you sink or not. And then if it sticks to your boot, that would be a case of too wet. Don't want to be in that field just yet. So again, we don't want to get equipment stuck and make a big mess in the field. We want to do things timely. So double check those areas to make sure that she can carry. Second thing, I call them tillage weeds. Yes, that's the weeds that you start seeing this time of year. The landscape is starting to green up if you do tillage or no-till or anything in between. So from moldboard to no-till, everything in between, you're starting to see things green up. I call them tillage weeds because a lot of times, where my nickname comes from is our tillage doesn't take out those weeds. Especially if you're looking at a vertical till system, we don't really get a whole lot of destruction of the weed itself. In my estimation and opinion, vertical till is very, very close to a no-till scenario. So weed destruction with that implement doesn't seem to occur often enough to really rely on. And so what I'm suggesting is that you talk to your Country Visions agronomist about using a burn down system to make sure that we get that cleaned up from the get-go. Because once you go, there's going to be a lot of fast growing things this year because once this changes, we're going to go into a summer heat pretty quickly. Again, if your other systems, you're starting to get bigger weeds, etc., that, if you're out there trying to do a pre-emerge situation and the tillage weed is now a foot tall, even though the corn ain't out of the ground yet, you probably want to be adding something to that pre-emerge tank mix to take out that big thing so it's not a problem later on down the road. The bigger it gets, the harder it is to kill. Again, talk to your Country Visions agronomist. She can set up a system that fits your needs for that field, for that farm, etc. Number 3, pasturing. A lot of pastures are being utilized at this point, and we're getting the first cutting, if you will, pretty close to being done. Now is the time to get some of that fertilizer on that we talked about earlier. Go to any one of our country stores or fertilizer locations to get the fertilizer you need to get that on for your pasture. And fourthly, for those folks who are interested in their lawns, we have reached a point that we should be considering getting on the crabgrass preventer if that's a tool that you like to use. We have many solutions at our stores that you can pick up these materials to fit your needs, your management, etc. With that, keep the questions coming. We're praying for some sunshine, some dry conditions that we can get this planting season underway. But with that, be safe. We'll talk to you next week.